This is Dr. Rima, and I have a special broadcast to bring you tonight. We talk a lot about being attacked, hacked, interfered with. And yesterday, when we attempted to initiate the Dr. Rima Truth Reports radio show on vtnradio.com, our station, we found that we were having a great deal of trouble. We couldn't get started. We couldn't get broadcast. We could get our own signal, our own communications set up, but we couldn't get on air. Now, our engineer, Chip Tatum, is very dexterous and very dedicated, and we knew the problem wasn't that Chip wasn't doing his job, but we knew that we could not be heard on the air. And so it was very interesting because we were interviewing Dr. Majid Khatme from London, who was telling us that the 1.6 billion Muslims in the world are forbidden by their holy scriptures from taking vaccines. An enormously important piece of information. And he's quite adamant that this is so and that there's no denying it. This is an important piece of the truth to get out there. Well, it took us, 45 minutes, maybe longer, to finally get onto the airwaves. So anybody who had tuned in to the Dr. Rima Truth Reports at our assigned hour of 5 o'clock Eastern would have long since given up in disgust, I have to suppose. And although we continued to record, we knew that the audience was, at best, severely reduced. So afterwards, we said to our engineer, Chip Tatum, what was that all about? And he said, I'll show you. Chip, welcome to this mini podcast of the Dr. Rima Truth Reports. And Ralph, my co-host, Ralph Fusatola, welcome to this mini podcast.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Licenciado.
Chip, tell us what was going on from your point of view as you were trying to make sure that we were on air.
Well, normally we start, your show actually starts at about 5 minutes before the start time. So it was about 5 minutes, about 4:55 Eastern time. We start your bumper music and any advertising we're going to do, and that's going to carry through to about 3 minutes after. About 2 minutes before the hour, while we were playing one of the intro songs to precede your introduction, we started receiving heavy interference. My experience in the past as a military officer, we would normally fly AOs and we would have a jammer on board the aircraft, and that jammer would jam certain frequencies so that they couldn't be used to communicate. And this signal is the same signal that we experience in our military-grade jammers, I'm not talking about others, but this is exactly the same signal, data type signal that they use to jam, and it's a military grade. And if y'all stand by, we'll play this for you so that you understand what interference. There's no way that anyone can talk over this. No one can communicate through this, and no one can pass data through this. This is what they were doing to Dr. Rima's show last night.
And it went on and on, I take it.
That went on for about 30 minutes before I was able to reroute the signal away from that jamming signal so it couldn't continue. But the signal is so strong that it kept dropping any connection that we had, even through Skype. It just cut any type of communications connections.
Well, what I find interesting is that sound is very much like the sound of a machine gun. Very, very strange. Chip, we had these experiences in the past. We had one of our war councils a couple of years ago, last time Dr. Rima and General Byrd visited the United States. We had a group of people together in a room up here in Sussex County, New Jersey, in a hotel. We had 3 separate internet connections going, 3 separate accounts, 3 separate systems, and they all got interfered with at the same time. And at one point, one of our listeners called us on the telephone and said, "Can you please ask the person near the microphone who has that hacking cough to please move somewhere else. Well, there was nobody coughing by the microphone. The hacking cough was a message.
No doubt this was a message.
Well, you said military quality interference. Is that what we're seeing?
Military, absolute military grade.
Your station and the work you've done before has involved a lot of highly sensitive material, a lot of cut button stuff. Has this happened before?
Oh yeah, several times before. I'd say it happens almost 2 or 3 times a week. We can experience someone coming to interfere. But at this quality, no, we've had other types of interference, but never this kind, this military grade interference. This is the first time we've received this.
We're special.
Well, General Burt will probably appreciate that. This has been a very interesting, brief recording, which we're going to release because we want people to know about what's happening, the interference that's being aimed at us as we prepare for Friday's Mayday Marathon, May 1, 2015, 16 hours of broadcasting about vaccine truth on Veterans Truth Network, VTNradio.com, and several other networks, not all of which we're going to be announcing in advance. This is a most important event, clearly, as we build up to it with our daily radio programs with individuals who are talking about the vaccine issue. Up to the marathon, we're being interfered with. So we want to let everyone know.
Before we stop, I'd like to make a couple of points. The material that we're covering, the vaccine truth, is a huge monkey wrench that is being thrown into one of the most powerful thrusts that the globalists know how to make. And we're cutting right at the heart of it. Obviously, they don't like that. And to me, that's an indication that we're doing our job and we're doing it well. Chip, is VTNradio.com worried about retaliation for carrying out these communications with us?
The people involved in the network are all very aware of retaliation tactics that are used, as most of them have been whistleblowers or have been in the intelligence business for years. So we're prepared. It sometimes takes some time to route around, but as we go and as we grow, we have more access and more routes that we can take as someone attempts to attack us.
You've heard it here, folks. Military grade interference. Go to tinyurl.com/Mayday Marathon.
During Mayday Marathon, you'll be there with us and you'll be getting us back onto the air. I have great confidence in that. And I must say, I feel much better knowing that. Anything else you want to add, Chip, to the folks who are out there who are maybe hearing this for the first time, that this is not somebody's fantasy. This is not a conspiracy imagination. This is military grade interference because they don't want you to know the truth.
There are several things involved. There's not only the trillions of dollars involved, but there's also the control over generations of people they can use with their vaccines. So they have a lot in the bucket.
All right. Thank you, folks. That is tinyurl.com/Mayday Marathon. Thank you very much.